Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Brainbean here again, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Xbo's ortho-linear ergonomic keyboard. Now, I want to hook you guys up with one of these. I'm going to be doing a giveaway for one of my subscribers. I'll have all the details on that at the end of the video, but for now, let's check out the Xbo's. So essentially what the Xbo's is an ortho-linear ergonomic mechanical keyboard that has its own unique layout that's designed to reduce repetitive injuries and also reduce over strenuous stretching of your fingers. So you'll notice that a lot of the layout has been kind of tailored towards being easy to reach, and they've also added a bunch of keys to be center oriented in the middle of the keyboard. Now this keyboard's actually available in 3 different variants. They have the Nature, which is the metal top cover over a plastic casing. This one comes in at a pretty reasonable 120 bucks. Next, they have the Night version, which is an all aluminum chassis. This one comes in at 200 bucks. And then lastly, they have the Night Plus, which is the all aluminum chassis plus a magnetic detachable number pad. And that one comes in anywhere between 300 bucks MSRP or currently on sale for 260 bucks. Starting first, as always, with construction and design, the Xbo's Night Plus is an ortho-linear ergonomically friendly mechanical keyboard. Its casing is made up of a solid aluminum body that has a nice matte texture to it, and the build here is rock solid. There's definitely some serious quality in the construction. Size-wise, the board is a little bit smaller than your average TKL thanks to its compact layout, coming in at 355mm by 148mm, and it's 445mm long with the number pad attached. Let's talk about the layout, because that's definitely the Xbo's biggest feature. First of all, let me say that you will need to take some time to get familiar with the layout and retrain your fingers to use this board properly. So keep in mind that your speed and accuracy will get worse before they get better. Don't get frustrated though, the results are well worth the effort. Let's dive into the layout so that I can point out what's different, because there is a lot going on here. Looking at the overall keyboard layout, you can see that there's this bowed design, hence the name, that angles the board in a more natural angle for your wrists. A lot of thought here has been put into reducing your hand fatigue, and you can see this in the elongated keys kind of the farther out that your hands have to reach, making them easier to hit. And this board is all about reducing repetitive strain injuries. The bottom row also has large alt keys that make them easier to hit, and a split space bar that your thumbs naturally want to rest on. In the center of the board, you'll see Xbo's secret sauce, which is the center-oriented modifiers that are designed to reduce pinky strain. In the center, we have a new backspace, enter, control, and shift key. Other changes are the 1U change to the tab, caps lock, shift, and control keys on the left side of the board. On the right side, we see a massive backspace key, which helps you get used to this keyboard when making mistakes, but ultimately I think you will end up using the new center-oriented one more. There's also a big delete key and print screen button up top, and a 1U page up and page down button. With the Night Plus version of the keyboard, like I mentioned, you will also get a removable magnetic number pad which connects to the keyboard with a strong magnetic connection and a set of pogo pins. Now, one of the cool things here is that you can attach it to either side of the keyboard, and you can even use it on its own with a second included USB-C cable. The magnetic connection is strong enough that it's not going to go anywhere during normal use, and you can actually use it to hold the keyboard up and it won't fall off, but simply picking the keyboard up off the desk will cause the number pad to fall off. That's physics for you. The additional number pad is the standard layout with just a small escape key, tab, backspace, and function key added up top. The underside has 2 small rubberized pads and a spot for 2 rubberized magnetic feet that you can attach to raise the typing angle. These attach very strongly to the keyboard and they do their job well. I've been using my Xbo's as my daily driver for over a week now to really give it a chance to grow on me and try to learn it. And at the risk of even sounding too meta, I'm actually using it right now to type out this script. And for me, I found I was able to adapt to the spacing of the alphanumeric keys fairly easily. The main hangup for me is the centered oriented modifiers. You do still have a small 1U shift key on either side of the board that actually surprisingly feels pretty natural to hit, but the backspace key has been moved so far away that even though it is pretty massive, trust me, you're going to want to learn how to use the new center-oriented backspace before anything else because you are going to be using it a lot and you will make a lot of mistakes. I actually found the new shift key location to be pretty natural, and hitting it with my thumb, I was able to adapt to it pretty fast. The enter key does keep its same position on the board, but it does require a good amount of reach, so I think naturally you will find yourself using the center-oriented one as well. So being about a week into using my Expos, I would say that I'm comfortable with the layout, and I find myself making less mistakes and naturally using the center-oriented keys more than I thought I would. In fact, when switching over to my standard layout keyboard, I sometimes find myself missing those centered-oriented keys a little bit. It's a bit of a learning process, but it's not overly frustrating, and it feels natural enough that you should find yourself typing away in just a few days' time. I did also put this board through its paces with gaming because I do have my doubts about how viable it really can be, and for the most part I found it fairly natural with the left pinky resting on the smaller shift key just fine, and the spacing of the keys was mostly no problem, the only exception being that the W key just felt a little bit too far forward when playing first-person shooters. Also, depending on the game, using the number keys while also making use of WASD could be a bit of a stretch. Again, all of this is going to depend on how familiar you get yourself with the keyboard, but in my experience, I did have a little bit of trouble gaming with it comfortably. Expos keyboards are available in 11 different Gateron switch types: blue, black, red, brown, and yellow, and also silent red, black, brown, and yellow. So there are plenty of different switch options out of the gate, which is great, but this keyboard is also hot swappable with a modular PCB that will allow you to plug and play any Cherry style switch. So typists rejoice, as you can easily throw in your holy pandas into this board and go to town. The stabilizers on the Expos are actually really good. There's no rattle to speak of, just a nice, satisfying, solid thunk when you bottom out the keys. I think you could still give them a little bit of love, but in terms of stock stabilizers, these are some of the best that I've seen. And just so you guys can hear what I'm talking about, here is a quick sound test of my Expos Night Plus with Gateron Browns. The keycaps on the Expos are a unique double-shot spherical design. Now these are ABS keycaps, so they will get a little bit shiny over time. And to me, it feels like an SA OEM hybrid. The profile is referred to as GX by Expos, and looking at this diagram, you can see how it compares to some traditional SA profiles. And while it's based on the traditional SA design, the GX smooths out the front edge to reduce accidental presses on the row below it. The keys are opaque, which is kind of a bummer for the RGB, but not uncommon for this style of keycap. And overall, the spherical contour and overall feel of these keycaps feel really nice to type on. Anybody who likes the feel of SA keycaps will enjoy these, and those who find SA keycaps too tall I think will also really like these, as they're a little bit more normal sized. I think overall this is just a really great profile. This keyboard does have full perky RGB and full reprogrammability with their software, and this was actually one of the biggest surprises for me on this keyboard. And as I'm sure you already know, the flickering you're seeing on the lighting is caused by my camera and is not something you'll see when you use the keyboard. The driver software is super easy to use and it runs really smoothly. It's super easy to rebind keys, create macros, and there's 47 preset lighting effects. You can also create your own DIY static color profiles. And overall, I'm just really pleasantly surprised with the quality of the software. It's pretty refreshing to have a software that's not from a major brand actually be very usable for once. In the box, you'll get the braided USB-C cable, 2 of them if you get the Night Plus, some magnetic removable rubber feet to raise the typing angle, a wired keycap puller, a switch puller, and the number pad again if you go with the Night Plus version. Overall, I'm really impressed with the Expos. I think the build quality is top notch. Now, I didn't get to review the Nature version, but if everything I'm seeing here translates over, it's still going to be a really nice quality keyboard, and I think the price is really fair on that one too. And I think if you're somebody that does a lot of typing or programming, or find that you're sitting there typing at the keyboard for a long time, if you take the time to really put the effort into learning the layout on this, I think you will see some pretty substantial returns in how you feel when you're typing at the keyboard. Negatives, I would say it's not great for gaming. It's not really designed for that, so it's hard to kind of knock it. But if this is a keyboard that you want to live on your desk all the time, you should definitely keep that in mind and maybe have a spare keyboard on hand for gaming or something like that. But when you look at the overall quality of this thing, from the hot swappable switches to the super solid chassis, that unique GX profile sculpt on the keycaps is super nice. All of these things combined really make the Expos a winner for me, not to mention the software, which most cases a keyboard like this from a brand that's not a big major brand is not going to have a great software, and I was very pleasantly surprised with just how smooth it was. So I think by all accounts, Expos has a winner here, and I think you guys will definitely like it if you're looking for an ergonomic keyboard like this. Now, like I mentioned, I do have one of these to give away to one of my subscribers. All you guys got to do, obviously, is be subscribed to this channel and hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you like about the Expos, or if you want to grab one, I'll take care of one of you guys here. In a couple days, we'll pick a winner. Of course, you can give this video a like if you enjoyed it, show your support, and be sure to follow me over on Twitter at Brainbean Gaming. I do exclusive giveaways over there. I'm about to give away a couple of codes for some Razer mouse mats just exclusively on Twitter there, so be sure to follow me over there. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there, take care of each other, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.